All right. There was a question like this on the quiz, and some of you got it wrong. You can't just divide both sides by tangent of x because you lose some of the solutions. You have to subtract it over, take out the tangent, because there are solutions where the tangent is 0 and where the sign is 1, okay? You lose half the solutions if you don't do that. Some of you also did this. This was interesting. You did this. Somehow you can factor and take your turn being equal to 1. What? No. There are infinite things that multiply to make 1, okay? That's not a good plan. All right, what you had to do was subtract the 1 over and then factor as a binomial and go from there. All right, if you need to make quiz corrections and retake the quiz, please come in as soon as possible. You need out your gray sheet today. The plan for the lesson is we're going to go quickly through these. This is not life and death, you have to know this forever stuff. This is stuff you would be able to, you in this class will be able to use your gray sheet forever. I'm not going to make you memorize these because look at this fun, okay? All right, but all we're going to do is trade stuff. So can you find these on your gray sheet, please? Because you're not going to use the notes for your quiz. You're going to use the gray sheet. Middle on the back. Did you find them? It says sum and difference. I still need this gray sheet. All right. Some of this is basically, in my mind, useless stuff we still do that now a calculator pretty much has replaced. We're going to do a couple examples of that. And then I assigned a couple on the homework, but I'm not going to put them on a quiz. All right. And I'm going to skip some of the notes because the other half of my plan for today's lesson is that I would like there to be 10 minutes before I hand the homework check out for questions. Because with the quiz yesterday, I know some of you didn't get your questions answered. Okay? The quiz, or the homework check, should take 2 minutes to fill out if you're done with your homework. I'll try to give you at least 10, but all right, that's the plan. I'm going to skip the examples and go right to this. The idea here is take two numbers off your unit circle. 30, 60, 90, 45, 135, 90, whatever you want, and get negative 15 by adding or subtracting. You can use any numbers that would add or subtract to make negative 15. We could do negative 45 plus 30. Most of us probably would have picked 30 minus 45. Would that be okay? Yeah. Doesn't matter. It'll work either way. Okay. Now what we need to do is go to the back of the gray sheet. And you could have done this 45 minus 60. It's the same thing. You get the same answer in the end. Find this at the back. It's someone read it to me. Cosine A minus B is equal to sine A. Okay, go ahead. It's equal to what? Cos A. Is it?
Yeah. Cosine A times cosine B. Sine A.
Plus or minus? Plus. See, I don't even have these memorized. Okay. Now we're going to replace all those with what two numbers? 30 and 45. All the A's are 30s, all the B's are 45s. We good? Now we're going to flip our sheet over to the unit circle side and replace those with values. Cosine of 30 is? Did I do that right? Yes. Cosine of 45. Sine of 30, whoops, That one is 1/2, yes. Okay. Now you gotta know something about radicals. What happens when you multiply those together? This becomes
6.
square root of 6. As long as they're both in there, we can multiply them together. That's a 4. Over here we get, so when we add, we get square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4. This is the exact answer for the cosine of negative 15. Apparently that mattered at some point to someone. If you want to type this into your calculator, you will get exactly the same decimal as if you typed cosine of negative 15 as long as you're in degree mode. Philip. Because we use the rule that had the minus. Otherwise, you'd have to use the rule that had the plus, and then you'd put in the negative 45. Yes?
Why is this important?
It's not. That's why we're moving on. All right. We're going to do one more, but we're going to change this one to sine just for kicks and giggles, okay? I need you to probably change it to degrees, because I can't figure out how to add up to 11 pi over 12 using my little fractions, so just change it to degrees. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. What is the degrees? 1 what? 165. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. How would you like to rewrite 165 using numbers off your unit circle? $180 minus 15. Is there 15 on your unit circle?
No.
No.
120 plus 45. Does that work?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
You said.
135 plus 30 would work? Okay. But the first one I heard was a 120 plus 45. That will work. Okay. So what does the rule look like for sine A plus B?
Sine A plus B equals sine A plus sine B. Cosine A sine B.
I left blanks because I'm going to fill in the numbers. What numbers? 120 and 45. And back here goes. Is that what it says, guys? Sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B? Did we get it right? Okay, do some trades for me. This was a 2, right? Sorry. Did we get that right? So what does that simplify to? Yeah, remember the bottoms do multiply and make 4. It's not a keep the common denominator thing until we add. Okay. There's a tangent one on the homework that's awful. Number 5. When you guys are working on the homework check later, I'll do it and you can all just go, oh, and then take a picture, okay? Because I promise I'm not going to sign a tangent one. All right, moving on. I'm going to skip to this question. You don't have this. Just help me really fast. Find the rule that says cosine, cosine plus sine, sine. Cosine, cosine plus sine, sine.
Cosine A minus B.
Okay, what are A and B? Okay, now you need to simplify that. Use your calculator. If you don't like fractions, what's 7/8 minus 5/24? Math, enter, enter. If you don't mind your calculator, this is 21/24 minus 5/24, which is 16/24, which is 2/3. But there's a pi. Okay. We simplified it really nicely, but it does still say find exact value. So what's the value of the cosine at 2 pi over 3? Yes, -1/2?
Yes.
Does that look a little nicer than that?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you rather I assign this kind of problem on a quiz than the kind we just did?
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is a tangent, but it's not hard. Find that on your sheet, on your gray sheet. Tan minus tan over 1 plus tan.
Tan A minus B.
Is it minus or plus?
Minus.
Okay. So what is our A and our B? 6x and, okay, which simplifies to? Okay, what can you do with a negative on a tangent question? Does it go out front or drop away? The rules are on your gray sheet. It is an odd function, so it goes out front. So that garbage simplified to that garbage. All right, let's try one on ours. Can you find sine, cosine plus cosine sine on your gray sheet?
No.
Sine plus A. Sine A plus B.
Okay, what are the A and the B?
1G is 10.
And what does that simplify to? Yes.
We don't have 10 and 20 rooms.
No.
You add them together and find a 30 degrees.
We're trading for this, sine A plus B, and then we're adding and doing 30, and that's what's on our unit circle. If you do it on your calculator, you're going to get a decimal. I want an exact answer. Now, I know 1/2 comes out on your calculator. But if I throw in some crazy numbers that don't come out on your calculator. The other thing is, those of you who use your calculator for everything, including crazy graphing questions because you've memorized or figured out how to store things in X and then multiply by pi, guess what? If you take calculus, almost half the AP test is no calculator. Okay? So you got to know how to do this stuff without graphing. All right, find this. Tan plus tan over 1 minus tan tan.
That is tan A plus B.
What are my A and B?
Pi over 9 and pi over 7.
Add those together on your calculator, please. 1/9 plus 5/36 is 4/9 plus 5/36 is 9/36 is 1/4. And the tangent at pi over 4, no one should need to look at your unit circle.
2.
So far, so good. Pretty easy stuff. Okay. This one looks tricky because this is A and this is B, and they messed us up back here. No, this is not the one they messed us up. Do we have cosine, cosine minus sine, sine?
Yes.
Okay, must be a different one. Okay.
Cosine A plus B.
Okay, what are A and B?
90 total.
And the cosine of 90, I heard Faisal say 0. He's ahead of y'all. Everybody okay? All right, this is the one that's messed up. Because if you say this is A and this is B, then this should be the other way around. But it's multiplication back there, right? So you can just switch the order. So we can write this cosine of pi over 12 times sine of y. All we did is switch the order. Now, A and B. So what is sine A cosine B minus cosine A sine B equal? Okay, what are the A and B we're putting in? Can we simplify that? We're done. Okay. The next section is verify, and it's really easy. When I show you, you'll think this is easy. But verify means you can only work with one side. Some of you had trouble with that in the quiz. Okay? The whole point of verify is that you can't mess around with it until something looks the same. You're trying to verify that this is true by messing with one side.
One side.
Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you find what the rule is for this for me? Sine of A minus B. Is that right? Okay. We're going to put in what? Pi and S. And then we're going to trade out values. And it's going to prove it's true. That easy. What is the sign at pi? It's a verify, so I'm going to show my work. What is the cosine at pi? Oops. Okay, we're trying to prove that it equals sine x. Does it equal sine x?
Yes.
0 times cosine is 0. Minus negative 1 becomes plus 1. Okay. Try the next one. Did I do that right? Sine, cosine, plus cosine, sine? Is that the right rule? Okay, 270. The sign is? So, cosine at 270? It's a verify, so please show that step. But what does that all come out to be? These are nice verify questions, yes? And how will you recognize that it's one of these? It's going to have some kind of plus or minus going on in the parentheses, right? That's the only thing we know how to do with them. All right? We're going to try one of these, and then we're going to be done for the day on these. This is an equation solving. These are really icky. I'm just telling you. It's going to be long, okay? Because we have to expand this, and then we have to expand this. Here we go. We can do this. Okay. What is cosine A minus B expand to? Cosine, cosine. Then what? Plus sine, sine. This is not a verify, it's actually a solve, so if you wanted to skip some steps, you could, in theory. Then there's a minus. And then we're supposed to do the whole sign garbage back here, so I'm going to put a parenthesis. What's the sign of A minus B? Sine times cosine. verify this is solved. And I distribute the negative, well, you know what? We didn't do this earlier. Oh, we can't do it yet. I lied.
Can we just figure out what's at each point?
What?
Can we just figure out what's at each point and then distribute the negative?
We're going to go square root of 2 over 2. That's what all these are, right, guys? Sine and cosine. I'm going to distribute my negative here. This one, when I distribute, becomes plus. Something's got to go away.
We have a positive cosine, there's a negative cosine, so we just do. And then you have two positive here, 2 over 2 is sine x.
Okay, Ben said, be careful. Everybody sees where those cross out, right?
Yeah.
But when you add one of these plus one of these that are the same, you get 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 square root of 2 over 2 is what?
2.
Just square root of 2. We divide both sides. Where is that on the unit circle? The sign is negative square root of 2 over 2.
5 pi over 4.
And
7 pi over 4.
again, this is not a verify, so if you found a way to skip some steps, that's fine. Yes?
Wait, so is it 1/2 or one of these square root of
Right here, the 2's canceled, so we still had a square root of 2 we had to divide by.
2? No, but when you divide, is it just 1/2?
1 divided by square root of 2, and then it rationalizes. If you multiply by square root of 2, you get square root of 2 over 2. Yeah, the square root didn't go away. Not 1/2. Everybody okay? All right. Questions from either page 331 or worksheet 5 or worksheet 4? Before I pass them, I'm going to check out. Yes, Trig.
Oh, page 5D. 16.
Okay, just take your turn being equal to 0. I don't know if I can write with this thing. 2 cosine, nope, can't. 2 cosine x minus 1 equals 0, or tangent of x minus 1 equals 0. So where is that true on the unit circle? If you FOIL it back together, you're going to have to factor it again. It's already factored. Yeah.
This is easier.
I know. Yeah. The cosine is 1/2 at pi over 6, am I right? And 11 pi over 6. Did I get that right, guys? It says all solutions. Did I get this right? Someone looking at their unit circle and helping me? Cosine is 1/2? No? It should be pi over 3 and 5 pi over 3, shouldn't it?
Yes.
That's what I got.
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And where's the tangent 1? That one I think I know. Pi over 4.
5 pi over 4.
You need 5 pi over 4 since the period for tangent is pi. You could write 5 pi over 4, but you don't need it. Sorry, that's a hot mess. I got it wrong the first time.
Number 18.
On this same worksheet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I gave you the start of this question the other day, or didn't I? I think so. It says 4 minutes, you're at your deepest. 9 minutes, you're at your shallowest. That's half a period. So that was a distance of 5, so I added 5 more and got 14.
Yeah.
So how can we write that equation? What is this distance?
800.
So half of that is?
400.
So the amplitude is 400 above and 400 below. So that goes in front. I'm going to do an upside down cosine, so it's actually going to be negative. Now what? What's the midline through the middle? That goes at the back.
That's a -4 in the middle.
Period is 10 minutes, so 2 pi over 10. If you want to reduce, it's pi over 5. I would accept 2 pi over 10. Oh, it's said in terms of t, so that should be a t, not an x. Oh well. Okay. This is a y. That's supposed to be the t. All right. To be able to solve for the next 2 parts, you need to graph it on your calculator. You need to be in radian mode. Go to y equals and type this equation in. -400 brings up a parenthesis. You type pi divided by 5, parenthesis x minus 4, close both parentheses at a -600. It asks what the time is at 0. What's an appropriate window?
-1200 to 100.
Okay, for the y value though, right?
Yeah.
-1200 I did to 0. Across, I just did -1 to 30. You could go 0 to 30. You could go 0 to 20. Doesn't matter. Then once I had graphed it, what are 2 points I could check?
4 and 9.
Okay. Trace 4 was supposed to be at -1000 and 9 was supposed to be at -200. It's working. It asked about time 0, so I did trace 0. And you're at -276. Are you safe?
No.
Is your sub below -300?
Yeah.
Is -276 below -300?
No.
No.
Oh,
So it's not safe.
I thought you were saying. Yeah.
All right. Part D asks, guys, please be quiet. Part D asks when you are safe, so I put in the line at -300 and I needed to find the intersection points. It's really hard to tell, but there is an intersection point over here that's positive and one here. It's like 0.15 is the first one. The second one is at 7.8. So from 0.15 minutes to 7.8 minutes, you're safe. And then you go back above 300. I don't know why, but if you know that that's not safe, wouldn't you not know that?
Danger zone.
Yes.
Also number 5 on this machine.
All right, last question, guys. What is this? What is 1 plus cotangent? Anything? You could do it by trading it with sines and cosines. It'd just take you 4 times as long. Whenever you see a squared, look for the Pythagorean identities. All right. Someone want to pass these out for me?
I got it.
Is there one more question anybody's panicking about I can do? Yes. All right, guys, I don't know if this is on the homework check, so pay special attention. Number 19, 331. It says 50 feet per second, that goes in as the initial velocity, and you're trying to hit it 40 feet away, that's the distance. So if you get all that typed in, what do you get?
78.12
Okay? Now we need to do inverse sine to find the angle, and we're going to ignore the 2 theta for just a second. Does anybody have a little alarm that goes off in their head when you do second sine? There should be 2 answers. Samuel has the correct alarm in his head, okay? Should be 2 answers. So you get what, 30 point something? Am I wrong? 30.8? I'm totally making that up.
30.8.
Or 149.2, I'm kind of making that up too. And you got, what? You got to do 180 minus. What?
Okay.
The second one is 180 minus, okay? And then you need to divide everything by 2 because we finally got to deal with that too. Now, you got to decide if you're going to throw any of these away. I don't know what that is, 74 point something. Can you aim the racket 15 degrees above the horizontal? Yes. It would be a really low shot to the net. Can you aim the racket 74 above? Yeah, it would be coming from up here, down. This would continue every 180 degrees, but if you go past that, I don't think you can aim your racket more than 90 degrees. So those are the 2 answers. Part B, you have to do it all over again with 50 feet in over here. Yes. We could try.